How are you? I'm so happy to be joining you at this time. As we speak about this thought today, love is not imposed, it is earned. Isn't it a wonderful thing to spend time with our family? I hope that this message may be a blessing for you. One day, I was watching the mother of one of my grandchildren interact with her son, and as she hugged him and kissed my grandson, the little boy hugged and kissed his mother in return. My instant thought was the love is earned and not imposed. An ancient story tells us of a king of Prussia named Frederick who reigned in the 18th century. When he was already an old man, he would often take a walk along the streets of Berlin, but his subjects fled from him. It is said that one of those walks, a citizen saw the king coming and tried to escape from the monarch through a gate. "You!" yelled the king. "Where do you think you're going?" "To my house, your majesty," answered the man nervously. "Is this your house?" King Frederick asked. "No, your majesty," the man answered. "So why are you trying to enter the property then?" the king replied. "Well, your majesty," admitted the man, worried that he would be called a thief, "it is because I did not want to meet you." "Why?" the king asked. "Because I'm afraid of you, your majesty." King Frederick then raised the cane he used as a walking stick and pointed at a man, said, "You're not supposed to be afraid of me, you disgraceful man. You're supposed to love me." My friend, you can't force anyone to love. Love is earned and not imposed. The truth is that individuals rarely try to spend time with people they don't get along with. I'd like us to take a moment to understand the concepts of love. Love is a power. There is a wonderful declaration that you're about to hear. This inspired statement on love says, "Intellectual and moral strengths are involved in this principle. The excellence and value of pure love consists in its efficiency to do good, and to do nothing else than good. Whatsoever is done out of pure love, be it ever so little or contemptible in the sight of man, is wholly fruitful." With this insight, we understand that the concept of love is a principle that contains an intellectual and moral force. And as it is a principle, it is also the basis of what unites man with God and with his neighbor. And by understanding this principle in a deeper way every day through a relationship with the author of love, man will become a person with moral values based on the principle of love. We are born with the need to be loved. We love to be protected and recognized. We love because loving brings joy. Love will always be something we seek, although sometimes we may feel that it's difficult to find, as if we're in a maze. The question is heard, why is it so hard to find love? Because love is only sought out of a personal need. Love is often sought for a good feeling instead of seeking to make the person we love feel good. Love is often sought out of a social duty, but not as an act of surrender. Love is often sought as a way out of an emotional crisis, but not to serve and protect the ones you love. Love is not imposed. We all want to love, but there are very few people who know how to love. Love is the most sublime and sacred principle that the human being must experience. But when we feel that we are not loved, humans often look for methods or manipulation, threats, and other methods to force someone to love us. There are many forms of threats that are hard in family conflicts. If you break up with me, I will take my life. If you don't love me, I will not let you love someone else. If you don't love me, I will abandon my faith and seek the things of the world. If you don't love me, I will die. These words, and many more, are expressions that are heard daily in many family conflicts, because we feel that the love is a payment to the ego and pride that predominates our carnal nature. We feel that we must love because I am the authority of the house, because of my marital goals, because of my marital goods, because of my beauty, or perhaps because I feel good enough to deserve to be loved. Wherever the power of intellect, of authority, or of a force is employed, and love is not present, the affections will of those who seek to reach assume a defensive, repelling position, and their strength of resistance is increased. Jesus was a Prince of Peace. He came into the world to bring resistance and authority into subjection to himself. Wisdom and strength he could command, but the means he employed with which to overcome evil were the wisdom and strength of love. I have a close friendship with a father who has wanted to win the love of his children by satisfying their stubborn desires and buying them things in order to impose the idea that by these actions they might be forced to love him. But over time, he has been disappointed as he does not receive anything positive in return, instead being faced with the children who have become rebellious to both parents. Parents, the love of your children is not earned with money or force. If you want to achieve it through such methods, you are trying the impossible. I have also met a husband who wanted to earn his wife's love through force. He would sacrifice himself because apparently she had more than enough and no needs. But one day as I spoke with her, he told me that she was very worried. Not because she lacked things, but because she lacked the love of her husband. Husbands, be careful, because you may be about to lose your family. This is what the Apostle Paul advised. In Colossians chapter 3 verse 19, husbands, love your wives, and do not be harsh with them. There are many concepts that inadequately interfere when it comes to love. Using force, manipulations, threats, blackmail, and abuse in order to be loved are serious sins in the eyes of God. It is terrible evil that we carry with us when our children see that we seek love through blows, shouts, impositions. This is the way that Satan wants us to love each other. Men and women, wounded from the past because of humiliation and beatings they have received from their parents, they themselves have often continued with this family pattern to the point of bringing harm to their spouse and children, and repeating this cycle from one generation to the next. God sees love differently. There is a divinely inspired word of advice that says the following: God could have destroyed Satan and his sympathizers as easily as one of us can cast a pebble to the earth. He did not do this. Rebellion was not to be overcome by force. Compelling power is found only under Satan's government. The Lord's principles are not of this order. His authority rests upon goodness, mercy, and love. And the presentation of these principles is a means to be used. God's government is moral, and truth and love are to be prevailing powers. How do you lead your family? What is the source of love in the home? Is the source the force of the tongue or physical force? As a shepherd of the sheep, I have seen homes ruled by satanic forces. And they appear before the church as meek and kind sheep. Love has been clothed in hypocrisy and lies. When we use the tools of the enemy to seek love, we are rejected by heaven, because this is not the path to love. When we love but harm the mind of our family, it is a power foreign to that of God. When we love but make someone suffer at the same time, this is false love. When we love but do not use mercy and kindness, it is a power foreign to that of the God who created you. Love is not forced or imposed. On the contrary, love is free. And that is precisely where the foundation of this gift lies. Compulsive qualities stop a person from loving. Unfortunately, there are perplexing situations where one does not know how to act or respond to an imposition. Men must bear in mind that the female gender is hurt very quickly. And when this happens, true love can be deeply distanced. What is worse is when someone hurts another and is not able to say sorry. Then the person prefers suffering and crying, thus aggravating a relationship until it becomes irreparable. Friend, love is not demanded. It is not commanded. It is not imposed. When love is understood in its realm, dimension, it is a decision. It is a transcendent and not an I will love him with time. Does God love us with the passing of time? When love becomes a demand, it is not genuine. It turns out to be uncomfortable and unfair for both, as it is built on the shadow, a lie, which sooner or later will become demolished because its foundation is sand. The foundation of love is seeking good for the other and not seeking benefit for oneself. It is a happiness, selfless commitment, and not a painful sacrifice that must be done to please. My dear brother or dear sister, be careful with pretending to love in order to force love. No one can require us to love a man or a woman, nor do we have the right to make that man or woman love us. Friend, love is not a yes today, but a no tomorrow. It is a loving each other day by day. It is being happy because our significant other is happy. Love is renunciation, abandonment, and surrender. It is first of all a commitment to one's own dignity while learning from the love of Christ. Dear friend, think about what I'm going to tell you. As much as we try to love someone, the heart cannot be deceived. That is why love is one. Let us listen to advice of a family counselor, the Apostle Peter, in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Here, the apostle refers to the fact that the husbands must be wise to live with their wives. Jesus, the excellent teacher for all humanity, gives us these instructions. Whatsoever you would that man should do to you, do ye even so to them. Matthew 7, verse 12. Blessed results would appear as a fruit of such course. With what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Here are strong motives which should constrain us to love one another with a pure heart, fervently. Christ is our example. He went about doing good. He lived to bless others. Love beautified and ennobled all his actions. Love impairs to its possessor grace, property, and comeliness of deportment. It illuminates the countenance and subdues the voice. It refines and elevates the entire being. When love is present, life is full of grace. And this will be seen in actions. The spouses will have a face illuminated with joy, speaking soft words of affection and appreciation. The husband will constantly tell his wife, I love you. I will always be by your side. Wherever she is, she will call him to tell him, I only love one. I only love you. I will be with you. When they feel alone, remember to tell them, I am your wife. Or husband, I am here to help you carry our sorrows and sadness together. Or there is a moment of joy, remember to share this joy and rejoice together. Always surprise your wife. Bring her a nice bouquet of flowers. She will feel very happy when she sees gestures of love. Go out together to contemplate nature or just walk hand in hand. Apostle Peter tells us to be wise. You should always be aware when she is stressed, to be able to lend a helping hand and help her lighten the load at home. Maybe by picking up the broom to sweep or help her cook, or simply by spending some time to be with her. I remember a time when my wife and I decided to walk to church hand in hand one day. As we walked along the sidewalk, a lady whose store lined the streets was at the door, staring at us. When we approached her door, she said, You two are a scene to admire. To realize that it is possible. When we stopped and spoke with her, she mentioned that she had problems in her home. But simply seeing us take a walk hand in hand, we gave her hope for her home. There are many families and homes that by seeing can believe. That's why it's important that you live out the life you manifest. Parents, if you have children by your side, tell them that you love them. If they are far away, call them every day. They will always want to hear your voice. And never stop saying the magic words, my child, or my son, or my daughter. It is rare for me not to call my 5 children. I always want to listen to them, and I'm sure they enjoy listening to me too. This love, cherished in the soul, sweetens the entire life and sheds a refining influence all around. possessing it, we cannot be happy. Let fortune smile or frown. If perhaps you think that love has vanished and has already been lost, it is simply time for you to take action. If you think that you don't have love to give, ask the author of God for it, and he will give you the necessary wisdom to put to practice of manifest love into action, into actions of love and affection. Jesus was invited to the wedding of Cana in Galilee, and as they were there, the wine ran out. On Mary's recommendation, wine was needed, and Jesus ordered the pitchers be filled with water, and immediately the water was put part of the miracle, and it was turned into a better wine. The feast continued with joy. Perhaps the joy and happiness of your home is also ending. You think there's no solution to your problems. If this is happening to you, invite Jesus to your home. Tell him what is happening to you, and he will simply tell you to pour water. What is that, you may ask? He wants you to take action. The miracles will follow right away. But if there is no action, there is no miracle. Jesus loves your home and is willing to do the greatest miracle, so you may have a happy marriage. My wife has a home help page. One day a lady from Ecuador called her and told her that her home was hopelessly broken. When we listened and were able to talk to her husband, they were advised to surprise each other with a gift and take some time to walk together. Perhaps the solution was too simple, but the joy was great on their happy faces. And oh, how they wanted to live happy. For us, the solution they were given what seemed so easy, but it had an extraordinary result. Yes, my dear friend, love is won and not imposed. Love lives in action. Love cannot live without action. Every action increases strength and extends it. Love will gain the victory when argument and authority are powerless. Love works not for profit nor reward. Yet God has ordained that great gain should be the certain result of every labor of love. It is diffused in its nature and quiet in its operation, yet strong and mighty in its purpose to overcome great evils. It is melting and transforming in the influence, and will take hold of the lives of the sinful and affect their hearts when every other means has proved unsuccessful. Love is a plant of heavenly growth, and it must be fostered and nourished. Affectionate hearts, truthful, loving words will make happy families and exert an elevating influence upon all who come with the sphere of their influence. Loving, my dear brothers and sisters, is an apprenticeship in the cross of Christ. Love is the essence of Christianity. You can know many prophecies, be an excellent expositor. You can have a very good reputation in the church. But if you do not know how to love, your faith is vain. Your works are in vain in your Christian humanity. If you do not know how to love, you are empty, hurt, resentful, and bitter. If you don't know how to love, you will always be hurting those who love you. If we do not know how to love as a man or as a woman, we have not known the pure gospel of Jesus Christ, because God is love. And everything that is done without love has no meaning. That is why I invite you, my friend, to enjoy the love that comes from our Creator. Ask Him for it. And when you have this love, you will also be able to give it to those who surround you. May God bless you, and may you enjoy this love. Thank you.